And we are live. Welcome to the Jaybefaunt channel. I am your host, JamesBFauntleroy. So good to see all of you here. Come on in, come on in, come on, come on. It's so good to see all of you here. Have a seat, put your legs up. I hope y'all got a snack and something to drink. It is going to be a beautiful day. The Jaybefaunt channel is also part of Revolutionary Blackout Network, so you can find me there on Thursdays for the Savvy and JB show. And you can find me on Sundays for the JB show typically. And always you can find me here on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. People, loved ones, family, welcome. So good to have you guys with me today. Just to let you guys know, if you guys have not already, go ahead and give a like to the stream. This helps me out to let the YouTube algorithm gods know that you like what you're watching. So thank you very much for that. Also, if you have not already, you guys can subscribe to my Substack at jaybefaunt.substack.com. This gives you email notifications whenever I go live, upload clips, or write any articles. So you have that there as well. Also, if you guys would like to ask me a couple questions, you guys can also go to qbounty.com/Jaybefaunt if you guys want video answers to those questions or any reactions to videos. Go ahead. It's pretty fun. Also, if you guys would like to, you guys can also gift. That's right, gift a Patreon subscription to anybody that you may want to, or punish. Who knows? Whatever. But if you guys want to do that, you guys can also send a gift through Patreon. So thank you very much for that. Let's say hello to all of the neighborly neighbors that's in the chats. So first of all, who we have in here? We have the Quantum Alchemist is here. It says, LOL, Germany did that 2 decades ago. Guess the results. Or why not see or try our postal services at our nice prices? Yeah, thank you so very much. We're going to be talking about that. It's going to be interesting. Also, be sure to take the poll as well. DJ Leader says, terrific Tuesday to you and JB and RBN fam. And it's never enough for that freaking mouse. No, it is not. Look, that mouse has done a lot of damage to this nation, especially when it comes to things like copyright laws. Maybe right now we're trying to fight something on RBN right now, and it's pissing me off. I'm telling you right now, but it is what it is. That's the way it is. Did you guys grab your tea? Go ahead and grab your tea because the tea is going to be hot today. One of the stories is actually going to be a good story. It's going to be good. Terry Connolly coming in saying, good afternoon, JB and comrades. Good to see you, Terry Connolly. Miguel coming in saying, peace. Nice to see you, Miguel, and nice to have you and her. Radical Education says, let's turn United States Postal Service into UPS and FedEx, but with worse conditions for workers. Well, look, I ain't saying, but I'm saying. All right. And yeah, enjoy JB on the clock. Look, go ahead, watch it on the clock, and take an extra few minutes on that bathroom break too. Go ahead and scroll on your social media while you're doing your business. They don't know. Do it. Do it. Oh man, I'm in a happy mood today. I'm glad to see all of you here. Checking on the Rumble side to say hellos. We're good. We got some people watching. Good to have you guys on the Rumble side. Nice, beautiful, beautiful, and nice to have people watching on the Rockfin side. All right, you guys are a little bit shy, but that's okay. All right, so what are we talking about today? It's going to be very interesting. I actually have a special guest coming in a few minutes. And so that's going to be a really nice discussion. And then we're going to be getting into our subjects for today. But one of the things I actually wanted to also bring up is I just wanted to say that I'm very happy about, doing, the most I can in order to be the best that I can. And one of the things I wanted to talk about as well was the fact that I am also trying to get a kidney so that I can get a kidney transplant so that I can do more on the ground. So if you guys like to see if you are a good candidate for kidney transplant donor, then you guys can go to tgh.org/living kidney donor. That's what I'm doing to try to get myself, better. But please make sure you think deeply about this if you would like to, if you guys would like, if you know that you're not going to be compatible or eligible, but you know somebody else that knows of me or that is looking to do something like this, then go ahead and submit it. Let them know and spread the word. Even if it's not for me, you can do it for somebody else. There's over 109,000 people across the nation that are waiting for organ transplants, and almost 90,000 of them are kidney recipients alone. So just to let you guys know, you guys are seeing one person who needs a kidney. There's many of us out there as well. We all come with two, and we can survive with one. We can thrive with one. So just to let you guys know that's what's going on with me right now. So thank you so very much. And so with that being said, let me see here. Radical Education says unionize at a high-end public school, so take all the bathroom breaks I need and plenty of time for news and theory. That sounds really nice, actually. I hope you guys are unionized. And if you are unionized, good, because I think that is one of the things that absolutely necessary, because I'm sick and tired of people going, oh, well, these teachers, all they want is just more money. And I'm like, you're crying about teachers, and yet you're willing to get tax subsidies and lower taxes for the billionaires? All right. I mean, a CEO goes, what happens to the company? But what happens to the people who actually build our nation and teach our kids? What happens with them if they go? So I think that's the important conversation to have. So, I mean, a lot of times people will just, when it comes to the workers, they have no regard. It's like whenever workers and people actually want something, and it's something that's necessary for them to survive and need, some people side with the oligarchs because we're propagandized to do so. And it's weird because the oligarchs are not going to actually do anything for us. And we are brainwashed into thinking that they actually provide something when in reality they don't. You do. You're the worker. And you'll say, well, they actually provide the capital. And the thing is, number one, how did they get that capital? That's the first question. And then if they're like, well, they worked really hard and they scraped, well, they were able to save at a time where it was not, where they actually had the ability to make a living wage in order to do so. So then they were able to save that money, but then they use that money to exploit other people in order to build it up even more. I personally do not like a system where people are exploited. That's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm crazy for that, but I don't like people to be exploited. I want people to get the surplus value of their labor instead of having to give it to some guy who worked in the past really hard, but now he's not working now. And most of the money and the wealth that was created was actually created by the workers. So that's basically how I see it. Anyways, yes, please like, share, and subscribe. Actually, yeah, thank you very much for that, Terry Connolly. Sometimes I forget to put that up. Yeah. But yes, absolutely appreciate that as well. And then yeah, it's never enough for the mouse. So I cannot wait to get into that. What was I? And then also, if you guys have not, we're doing mutual aid chapter. So if you guys would like to donate for the mutual aid chapter that we're trying to raise money for, you guys can go to $Orlando RBN. The mutual aid action that we're trying to do is I'm trying to get something going between late January or early February. At this point, I'm thinking maybe early to late February, maybe, because it is now mid-December. But if you guys would like to, you guys can donate via Cash App at $Orlando RBN for mutual aid action here in Orlando. So we deeply appreciate that as well, because, well, I'll be honest with you, our unhoused neighbors aren't doing too good. But that's mostly because our system does not want that to happen. And so, you know, our system wants to keep people who are poor and exploited at that level so that they are an example to us, you know, that we allow ourselves to continue to be exploited. So want to help them out and do as much mutual aid as possible. So thank you so very much for that. Charles J says, hey, JB, thanks for keeping us woke. You know, it's interesting. And I know you mean this in the actual sense of being woke, not in the tokenized version. See, this is the thing. Some people on the right, when they disparage woke, they see woke as just all encompassing by itself. For the community that created that that term, there's two kinds of woke. There's either the bastardized, tokenized woke that the Democratic Party does, and then there's the real woke that we actually go by. My guest. Hello. Hello?
Hello?
Rome, you're live.
Oh, man. How you doing, man? Nice to be back. Sorry it's in this circumstance, but how y'all doing, man? How y'all doing?
Oh, man, yeah, everybody. So Rome from RBN is live right now. So he is calling in just to give an announcement and say hello to everybody. So hey, say hello to Rome, everybody in the chat.
Man, it feels good to be back. Hopefully I can do this. I'm gonna try to set something up with RBN so I can, try to appear on the show a couple of times a month. Do my damn job. Shit don't stop. Yeah. Speaking of that, we're doing a fundraiser for my birthday. I'm not breaking tradition. I told myself not to let these bars hold me back from helping out the people. So we doing a fundraiser right now for the homeless here in Detroit. We're gonna be doing a giveaway on my birthday. So thank you for having me, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to have you on. One of the things that it never stops, is our work for the people, because we're trying to do work right now. Savvy just did a mutual aid event on Sunday, this past Sunday, which was wildly successful, giving a toy giveaway for 50 kids and their families, also having them for lunch, and also giving supplies for them for they need for their households, food and things like that. This Sunday, I will be joining Real Orlando, which is another mutual aid group. We'll be doing, a giveaway and also feeding the people in the neighborhood as well. And then, and then I'm trying to raise money for a mutual aid event for RBN Orlando. So within the next couple months as well. So
it feels good to actually do things. A lot of people doubted us, man, but we actually built, not only this network, but we built a movement. Make change not only in our neighborhood but across America.
mm-hmm.
To people that we had never even think that we can touch. It feels good. Feels good to know that y'all have our back with these things.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people wanted us to give up and give out. They put doubt in our heads, but when people have your back, you shouldn't have any doubt. I have no doubt the people will come through every time. Like right now, I know that it's the holiday season, and it's time for consumerism. Excuse me. And a lot of people is buying stuff for their families and whatnot, but I know there's still people out there that's willing to give to the less fortunate, to the homeless, to the people who can't get and receive the things that your family, your kids can get right now. We have been at the end, at the shitty end of the stick. We have been at the bottom of the barrel at that one point in time, and we remember how it was. It's good to have you people by our side.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that especially that's going on is a lot of people who are workers. There's this anger right now that's been going on, especially when it comes to ever since that CEO got murked, essentially, and a lot of people are feeling anger right now because they are going through more than what a lot of people could ever know. And so, that's something that I think that a lot of people also are dealing with right now. I know you said you had some thoughts that you wanted to share in regards to that, because a lot of people haven't been able to hear your thoughts regarding, really the class anger, especially in regards to healthcare.
Yeah, this is what's going to happen when you keep denying people. People are going to wake up, and they're going to be angry when they wake up. It's not going to be a focused anger. Like a lot of people aren't educated too well on these things, so they're going to be angry and they're going to want more depths. I can say this on this phone, so don't worry. People are going to want more CEOs dead. They're going to want more people to answer for these things, because you have to remember, a lot of these people have paid into these insurance companies, not tens of thousands, but hundreds of thousands of dollars, and have been denied care, not only for themselves, but for their loved ones, for their house, for their cars, and everything that they have paid these hyperboles for, because that's basically what insurance is. It's a hyperbole. Pay me this money just in case something happens to your car. I take it as a threat. Some people look at it as a hyperbole. But yes, it's going to happen, and a lot of people are going to see these deaths of CEOs, see the deaths of these rich, privileged motherfuckers, and they're not going to care. They're going to shrug their shoulders. Either they're going to shrug their shoulders or they're going to want more. It's basically like, everybody is on the side of a Batman villain. we start to look at Riddler or the Joker with some sense. Like, hold on, they're making a little bit of sense here. But this is going to continue to happen. If the American government doesn't get things right, like I don't agree with healthcare. I don't agree with health insurance. I think we need health care. Because with insurance, they are basically telling you that you are not human. Because insurance is things that you put on cars. Insurance is things that you put on a house. You put on a boat. But people, humans, animals, things that's living need health care. Round the clock health care. I know a lot of people, say, oh, with the wait time and this and that. I'm telling you this. The wait time is only long because we have so many people that hasn't got help at all. So if we was to pass some type of healthcare reform, or anything, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to go out and get these things done that they couldn't get, like, people that's dealing with diabetes, people that's dealing with cancer cells, or whatever it may be. The wait long is going to be long because we have neglected the people for generations now. And as we see the fall of the American empire, they are taking what they can, killing off their CEOs. They have killed off the Cash App CEO and made their own app, just like Cash App. They killed off the CEO of the health insurance. I'm pretty sure they're getting ready to make their own little thing. The people are going to call for more deaths, and whether it's coming from the people or it's coming from an inside, some type of inside deal with the government, or they just put on one another. It doesn't matter. The people are going to cheer because these CEOs and these rich people, they have caused deaths for a lot of us. That held back resources from millions of people for chunk change. Chunk change start to add up, and they have made millions of dollars from denying us.
Absolutely. And, I think it's just like what Professor Richard Wolff was saying in a show. He was talking about how all these are actually connected, what's going on with the vote of no confidence for the German chancellor, what the vote of no confidence for Emmanuel Macron in France is enduring right now. They want to kick out and impeach President Yoon of South Korea. And then there is a lot of uproar that's going on right now in the
after the beep.
votes.
Please say your voice key passphrase. Successfully verified.
Okay, sorry. So right now, what's going on, for instance, in Volkswagen and Germany as well, there's also that huge issue, and then so there's all this worker angst that's been going on, and it's almost as if the capitalist class, the ruling class, are shocked and surprised that people, the pitchforks and torches are coming.
Yeah, they're not thinking anymore. And capitalism cannot sustain human life. A lot of people always like to throw shots at socialism and communism, or the human nature of a person is greedy. No, I don't believe that for one bit. I believe with a capitalist mindset, you can be greedy. If you have capitalism control of your resources, people can be greedy with those resources, with that money. But what's happening in the West as a collective is that people are only waking up, but they are waking up angry. They are waking up and realizing that they have nothing. We have nothing we have no money to die with, no money to retire with, no money to pass on. Everybody is getting on, but you guys, everybody is able to have all this capital besides the workers, and this is why, as socialists and communists, we have pushed workers co-op. We have pushed socialism in the workforce, because these are one of the things that help give us the things that we have now, like child labor laws, like the weekend, even your labor laws that protect you, unions and whatnot. This is what has protected us, and we have been trying to take it farther and farther every time, because we know that this is going to happen. Capitalism cannot sustain human life. It cannot sustain workers, because capitalism doesn't need workers; they need slaves. And once a worker realizes that he or she is getting played, then they're gonna stop working and try to wield the power that they have had all this time. But we see what's happening with BRICS. We see how the Belt Road Initiative is putting the world together in one. We see the currencies that they're building outside of our currencies, like the terrorist isn't going to work anymore. There's a new world order that's being built, and the West is being left out of it. Not the left, the West is being left out of it, and the people are waking up, and rightfully so.
This call will be terminated in 2 minutes.
I'm gonna call you right back.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So yeah, that's how it works here. But yeah, he's absolutely correct, especially when it comes to these situations, especially when it comes to a lot of people's angst right now. The problem is a lot of people who have voted for Trump is only because of desperation. And a lot of people, want to throw the people who voted for Trump away. While a lot of times people who are liberals will say, well, for people who voted for Trump, racism and misogyny is not a deal breaker. I look at the people who are liberal and say, well, genocide is not a deal breaker for you. So should you be so judgmental of the people who did that? So, hello.
Call from
Rome, Bathia.
an inmate of the Oakland County Jail. Three-way or call waiting is not allowed and may automatically disconnect this call. This call is also subject to being recorded or monitored, except for privileged communications between attorney and client. Please select from the following options. If you consent to this call being recorded, and to accept this call, dial 1 now. To reject, call has been accepted.
All right, we're back. No, it's all good. I was just telling the audience about how we shouldn't judge people that harshly who voted for Trump, because a lot of these people are desperate, and the people who are desperate, a lot of liberals will say, well, if you voted for Trump, then racism and misogyny is not a deal breaker to you. And I said that I would submit to them that them voting for Kamala Harris, genocide is not a deal breaker for them either. So we should judge them by that same metric. And so what I mean is that a lot of liberals voted for Kamala Harris out of desperation, and a lot of Trump voters voted for Trump out of desperation. So the thing is, it's like we have to realize that none of these people are actually going to save us. We need to walk away from both parties and really start walking with each other and throw away our bigotry that we may have within our hearts in order to be able to unite with the working class, because ultimately, they're servants of the system. So that's basically what I was trying to get to.
If people are talking like that, then they still believe in a red-brown alliance. There is no red-brown alliance. There's only class consciousness, and we have class solidarity. So I can see why people voted for Kamala Harris. I can see why some people voted for Donald Trump. Now, if I was to judge you for voting for any of those people, I would basically leave myself out. You know, and it's a slippery slope. You know, because a lot of you people, 8 years ago, you voted for Joe Biden, and Joe Biden has been has wrote crime bills, has wrote racist bills that are still into play right now. Joe Biden has wrote the bill that has made it impossible for you to write up your credit card debt, your student loan debt on your bankruptcy. You know, so I can hold your feet to the fire for that shit also, but I can also see that you are desperate and you don't have the answers that you were seeking out. And rightfully so, because we're not getting the information from a CNN, from a Fox News, or any of these corporate organizations that say that they're here to represent the working class, or they have the working class best interest. So, you know, we are all just trying to find a way, trying to find answers to these things. And if we was to, you know, judge each other off for the people that they voted for, then we're going to be sitting here pointing fingers all day. The important thing to do is say, hey, you know, sit down, talk to each other. Hey, what is it that you want? What is it that you're looking for? And find the answers together, you know. But if you used to judge each other off of who y'all voted for, you're going to be sitting here doing that shit all day for generations on end. A lot of people are moving in these desperate times, and we have to be open-minded to that. So yes, a lot of people that you know, maybe family members might have voted for Trump. But you have to keep in mind, Joe Biden fucked up a lot of shit, you know. He left out a lot of people, and it's only right that the people are going to be looking for a way out, or I say a way in. So don't judge too harshly if you don't know why, you know, or because a lot of people don't know why themselves.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of my biggest points is, and I think about it this way. One of the biggest things that, like, for instance, that trans people are looking for is safety and security. But one of the biggest things that people who voted for Trump are looking for is safety and security. The problem is that the people at the top are pointing at trans people and going, they're not safe and they're not secure. And then because of that, then they see each other as the enemy, and then neither group feels safe or secure, when in reality it's the oligarchs that are making us unsafe. And the thing is, it's like, this is why I tell people who have some anti-trans view, I say, no, sit down, talk to them, and find out who they are, and you'll realize that you guys have a lot more in common than you do apart. And so this is why, like, things like racism, misogyny, anti-blackness, you know, queer phobia, these things, you got to toss these things away, because people are not going to unite with you if they're afraid of you or what you might do. And this is something I think that a lot of people, especially the white working class, needs to get through their heads, is that we're not going to unite with you if we're in fear of you, or if we feel like you're going to, you know, center yourself or disrespect us. And I think that's what a lot of people, especially on the left, the white left, really need to, you know, mull over in their heads and sit with.
Like you can sit here and laugh at people and point the finger at people and say, or judge them and say, oh, I don't have anything in common with a Trump supporter. Like, do you have anything in, like, okay, you don't have anything in common with Trump or a supporter, but you have something in common with Nancy Pelosi? You know, with all her inside trader deals and all that bullshit that she's been doing. Like, no, you don't. These people are, like, we have been sentenced for a while. This is a big group. You're not in it. You know, and they are just pulling the strings. They are pulling at your heart and your emotions on a lot of these things, when you should be class consciousness. You should have a class consciousness over anything, over everything. We should put our class first, because that's what they do. They put their class first. When it comes to cutting budget, what do they cut? They cut the schools, the libraries. They cut the shit shit that we need. They don't go into the military budget. They don't go into the defense budget. They don't go into none of that shit. They don't go to Wall Street and say, hey, we're not going to bail you out anymore. They didn't even ask the big three for the money that we had given them to bail them out in 2008 when we had a crash. When it was a housing crash and it was the big three crash here in Michigan, they didn't be like, come on now. They don't go they don't go against their class, and I don't think we should go against ours. If you feel like you don't have anything in common with a Trump supporter, then I feel sorry for you, because more likely you do. Because 9 times out of 10, that Trump supporter just wants to get up, just wants a leg up, you know. And that's the same thing with a lot of these Biden supporters or Bernie Sanders supporters or, you know, people who vote third party. They just want a leg up. And if you feel like you don't have anything in common with them, I think that you still are thinking with a closeted mindset. I still think that, you know, you have work to do, not only on your party, but on yourself. Because that's bullshit, and it's a lie that you're gonna keep repeating. You have to repeat over and over to try to convince yourself. Because people like me and JB or over here on RBN, our audience, we're not falling for it. We see everybody for what they are. You know, we are working class people, and we just want a day. You know, we just want something. We just want something for all of our hard work, for all of our labor, for the generations that we have put in, you know, in this workforce. We want something from it. And that's one thing that we have in common with any supporter, whether they be Trump or Green voters.
Absolutely. And, you know, and I also think that, you know, I think this is why cross solidarity is necessary, because, you know, one of the angst that I hear, especially from a lot of Black Americans, is that other
After
groups.
the beep, please say your voice key passphrase. Verified.
Yeah. So one of my biggest things is, you know, for a lot of Black Americans, they express anger because there's not any solidarity when it comes to us and what we're trying to get. And I think that it's important for other groups to have solidarity with us, but I also think it's important for us to continue our solidarity with others. But at the same time, solidarity should not be conditional. It should, you know, just continue. But at the same time, you know, I think it's important that other groups look at us and go, wait, if we unite with them, then it'll strengthen the working class movement.
Yes, like solidarity isn't a popularity contest. I remember making a video on this a while ago, and somebody was asking me, why am I standing up for the Arabs? Why am I standing up for Palestine when these people don't, you know, stand up for Black people and blah blah? Like, it's not a popularity contest. If I see somebody that's getting kicked, I'm gonna stop the person who's kicking them. I'm gonna spread awareness to that. You know, that's the least that we can do. Mm-hmm. And maybe, you know, maybe that's what we need to do is keep speaking up for the people that's down. Keep speaking up for the people that's been being kicked. And like you said, that would strengthen our numbers. You know, that would strengthen the people that has been down. Because to be honest, a lot of people don't even know what the fuck is going on with the Black community. You know, a lot of people don't even know that, you know, we are fighting for reparations. A lot of people don't know that we are fighting against gentrification. Even the people that's gentrifying the neighborhoods, they don't know that that is a thing. You know, so yes, we have to keep standing up, keep fighting for the little guy. And yes, it's an ongoing thing. It's an ongoing thing. It's gonna be a hell of a fight, but it's a fight that's worth fighting. You know, and one thing that Malcolm X has told us. You know, like a lot of people like to repeat that the saying of Malcolm X. The newspaper will have you loving the oppressor and hating the oppressed. But he was talking about Palestine. He was talking in Palestine at that time. You know, they love to leave out that complete quote. And yeah, we just gotta keep speaking up, and it's gonna be a hell of a fight. It's gonna be a long fight. but we got to prepare ourselves and strengthen our numbers, strengthen our people, not only with numbers, but with education.
Yeah, and that's why I am, excited to do mutual aid, because in my mutual aid, I don't say, oh, well, you look like you're a black immigrant. No, I'm not going to help you. Or you look like you're white. I'm not going to help you. It's like, no, I'm going to help all of you guys when it comes to mutual aid. I have special focus, on my community, but I also have, focus on having solidarity with other communities as well. And also, some people on the left will bristle at things like intersectionality, but it's like, nah, like I wear multiple hats. I'm disabled, I'm gay, I'm black, and I'm, of the poor class. And so I wear a lot of these hats.
You're a target for a lot of people, for a lot of things. And it's just, a lot of people, I think that makes you one hell of a man, one strong motherfucker to be a minority upon minorities, and to have all these targets on your back and still push, still push for your people and still fight for anybody and everybody in these communities. Because yes, I can, like you said, we have a special focus. Like, of course, I started building.
This call will be terminated in 2 minutes.
I'm gonna call right back, but I built the library in Detroit, but I also have the clinic in Boston. I also have the clinic in California. We have groups out there. Like you have your mutual aid group out there in Orlando. We have one in Kansas. We have one in Boston. But there's so many people we have to take care of. And when I was out there in Boston, it wasn't just black people that I had to help. There was white people. There were immigrants, Mexicans, and all kind of people that came for help. And I'm not going to turn them down just because they don't look like me. They don't come from the same background. Because at the end of the day, we all want and need the same things in order to survive on this earth. We all want and need for the same things. And I wouldn't be any better than the white man. Let's just say that I wouldn't be any better than a white man or the elite.
This call will be terminated in 1 minute.
If I was to turn you down just because, you don't fit the qualifications. That's what insurance brokers do. That's what these motherfuckers do. I'm not going to turn you down because you don't look like me. If you need the help, you're going to get the help, especially when it comes to mutual aid.
With that, look, I'm going to leave the last word with you, because that was beautiful. And I absolutely appreciate, the inspiration room. You have been an inspiration to me, and you're continuing to help people even while locked up. I just want to thank you for that.
Thank you. I'm going to call you right back so we can finish up about, how people can help out and whatnot. I'm pretty sure they're about to hang up. I'm going to call you right back one more time.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And, I think that's one of the things that is important, is that we do what we can to help out our fellow neighbors. Like, we can have a special focus on our own communities, which is fine. That's cool. But I think that it's a mistake to limit our solidarity with people, and make it conditional. Like, I'm only going to have solidarity with you if you'll have solidarity with me. And it's like, a lot of times they already do. It's just we don't pay attention when it happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, how many people of how many races were out here, during the George Floyd protests? Hello?
An inmate at the Oakland County Jail. Freeway or call waiting is not allowed, and may automatically disconnect this call. This call is also subject to being recorded or monitored, except for privileged communications between attorney and client. Please select from the following options. If you consent to this call being recorded, and to accept this call, dial 1 now. To reject, call has been accepted.
All right, Rome. So how can they help, and what can they do in order to help with this mutual aid action?
I'm pretty pretty sure. Hopefully, my girlfriend Zurich is in the comments somewhere with the links. If not, you can go on my Twitter, Rome from 6 Mile. I'm pretty sure it's my last post. I believe we are raising funds for the homeless and the people in need here in Detroit. We're gonna try to touch both sides. We're gonna try to touch the east side and the west side. If we have enough funds, we're collecting money for coats, jackets, blankets. We're gonna head to the homeless shelters like I usually do. We need a propane stove. Raising money for a propane stove, pots, utensils. We're trying to do we're gonna do grilled cheese, tomato soup, and chicken soup for at least 300 people that's in these homeless shelters on the east side and the west side. So that'll be 700 people all together. We're gonna be helping out on my birthday. I told myself, I'm not gonna break the tradition of helping people on my birthday because we have been doing this ever since RBN have been birthed, and I'm not going to break the tradition. I'm not going to let these bars break me. So if you can, you can donate to Tour for the Poor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, or you can go on my GoFundMe. I'm pretty sure it's still up. If you guys do not have that, that should be on my page or on my girlfriend page, and she can. If you contact her, she can show you guys where to go to donate. If you would like to help me out while I'm in jail with any donations, anything, you can put money on the phone. You can send me gift care packages and clothes, whatever it may be. She can show you how to do all that. You can communicate with me through tablets. We can talk, send pictures and stuff like that. That's going to be through some website called Smart Communications. But as far as the mutual aid event, that's going to be January 16th. So if anybody is out in Michigan, Metro Detroit, Michigan, or East Side, West Side, you can contact my girlfriend. Or right now, Zurich, I have promoted Zurich as the president of Tour for the Poor while I'm incarcerated. So he would tell you guys where to meet up and what he needs done. If you can help out, maybe you have a propane stove that we can use. Maybe you have a grill that we can use. Maybe you just can be an extra hand out there because it's going to be cold. It's going to be very cold. But some people don't have a home to go back to. Some people don't have a family to go back to, and it'll be nice to give people something during these holiday seasons. And I know that you are probably getting stuff together for your own family, stuff together for your own kids. But remember, there's people out there that have lost it all. And a lot of these people, a lot of people say, "Oh, a lot of homeless people deserve it. They want to be out here." That's not true at all. I have been homeless when I was 14 years old. Again, when I was 16, 17. A lot of these things aren't on you. As we know, a lot of these things, our community, the government just want us down so we can break down and join the organizations, maybe join the military and stuff like that. They make it so hard on our communities that we break down and give our body and our mind to them. And a lot of these people have stood strong and withheld their body and their mind from the government, from the military, and whatnot. So just remember that some people is out here that really don't deserve to be out here. There's not only grown people out here that's homeless, they're teenagers, they're kids. And I have talked to them. I have talked to a lot of them. I have helped a lot of these people, and we have to keep that in mind. So if you would like to help us out, again, you can go on my Twitter. I'm pretty sure there's links in the comments. And we're gonna continue to do this. No matter if I'm locked up for a couple of months or I'm locked up a couple of years, I'm not gonna stop doing what I do best, and that's help the people that need help. Somebody got to do it. And, we're not gonna change the world, but we're gonna spark the mind of the revolutionary that does.
All right. Thank you so very much. I shared all the links to all the PayPal, Cash App, GoFundMe, and Venmo. I also shared the photo of, for the tour for the poor. Of course, everybody, this is going to be another tour for the poor on January 16th in Detroit, Michigan. If you guys are out there or nearby, pull up so you can help. Pull up so you can pull up. So,
Right.
yeah. So pull up so you can pull up. I should put it on the shirt.
Show up and show out.
Show up and show out. All right. All right, Rome. Any last words, bro?
Much love to you all. I'm pretty sure I'll be seeing you guys soon. Hopefully I will be out sooner than later, but you guys keep your revolutionary spirit. They are trying to break you down. I know it's hard to stay, it's hard to keep that mind frame all the time, especially in these days, especially in these times where it's rough for a lot of us. A lot of us are going to be missing our families in these holiday seasons and whatnot, but you just don't give up, man. That's the first thing. That's the only thing that they want from you is to give up. And once you give up, you're already done. So keep up the spirits. Keep me in your spirits. You know what I'm saying? I'm an atheist, but I accept all your prayers, and I love you guys for it. I'm staying strong. Hope you do the same. I love you, bro.
All right, bro. Love you too, man.
I'll talk to you soon, JB. Have a good rest of your show, man.
All right. Thank you. You too. Have a great day. All right. Bye. So that was Rome. If you guys have not already, I already shared the links for that. So you guys can have that there. And yeah, that was the special guest. So I wanted to make sure that I got that call in. I hope you guys enjoyed that conversation. I wanted to make sure that we got that in. So if you guys have not already, then you guys can also do that as well. And then I'll be sure to put the links in and pin them once the stream is over, so you guys can have those links as well on people who are watching on the rewatch as well. So now let's go to we'll go to the chat real quick, and then we'll continue on with the show and get to our subjects as well. Let me see. Tavita says, let's get together on Warrior Unite and can see we are not that different. I disagree. It's more the bourgeois white left who are more racist, not white working class. I think that the white working class are fooled into thinking things about those of us who are different. And so a lot of times what ends up happening is once they start to get to know us, like for instance, there's always that one that's the good one, right? Right. I know this one person, they're one of the good ones. But the thing is like, if they start to realize the circumstances and they start to, know more of us, it's not the good ones. They start to realize, oh, well, maybe I was wrong. There was this young lady on TikTok who she was biracial, and her mom had racist parents. And basically, to thumb her nose at her racist parents, she got with a black man, and she had a baby by that black man, which was her. And once she had the baby, the grandfather absolutely loved that little girl. That was his favorite grandchild. The crazy part about that story is the grandfather was blind. So the grandfather had no idea that his granddaughter was half black. Now, the question is, would he have rejected her after knowing her all those years? Would he have rejected her knowing that she was half black. And she had no idea really that her grandfather was racist like that until she got older. She started to see for herself. And so the question is he saw her for who she was in her spirit and her personality. The thing is this is why they want to keep us divided, because they don't want us to see that. But it also means that the bigotry that we may have in different ways, and yes, some of us have bigotry, some of us do have privileges. Like I have a couple privileges, one of them being male privilege. Let's be real, all right? Let's keep it a buck. Like I have male privilege, right? I have cis privilege, right? And so it behooves me to get to know people who may be a little bit different from me, right? So that, you know, I can know them as a person and not discriminate against them and not have these bigoted thoughts. I'm still decolonizing my mind. I'm 40, I'm still decolonizing my mind, right? But that's part of the work, because I want to unite all of us so that we can move together and actually have a system that's good for all of us. But that means that I don't want women, cis women and trans women to be in fear of me or feel disrespected by me, because if they do, they won't unite with me, right? I want people who may be brown. I don't want them to feel like I'm going to call ICE on them. Like the hell? You know what I'm saying? I don't want, you know, of course, I don't want white people to feel like I hate them because they're white. I want them to use their privilege to push these systems out of the way so that we can unite. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would like to see. But I also want them to take these preconceived notions, because the oligarchs, the corporate dictators, they'll tell you who your enemies are, but they'll never point to themselves. They'll tell you the undocumented immigrant is your enemy. They will tell you the woman is your enemy. Like, see the gender wars that happen? They'll tell you the woman is your enemy. They'll tell you the black person is your enemy. They will tell you the trans person is your enemy, or the drag queen is your enemy, right? They'll tell you the neurodivergent person is your enemy. They'll tell you all these different people are your enemies while they're running out the back door. And the thing is like we have to realize that, number one, these people are not our enemies, number one. Number two, we actually have to connect and have solidarity with them. What does this mean, solidarity with people, with black people? What, like, for instance, with black Americans? Supporting reparations, right? And you may think, oh my God, they're going to take money from me in order to give to them. That's not what it is. If you're a white person and you ain't got no money, why are you afraid? If you ain't got it, we ain't taking it from you, right? So that's the thing, like reparations for freedmen. That's something that actually is going to benefit all of us anyway, right? Making sure that everybody has healthcare, so that people who, for instance, may be trans, so they can get their surgeries, they're not bothering you, they're not harming you, right? And all these preconceived notions that you may have about the kids or getting their genitals cut off, that's not happening. So if anything, I mean, if you really want to talk about it, let's talk about circumcision, but that's a whole nother story. But my thing is we gotta get past this notion that these people are horrible. That's the scapegoating, right? We have to get ourselves past that. We have to, throw that out of our mind. We have to go, we have to throw this, females are like this and females are like that. Nah, man. We got to throw that out of our mind. This is one of the reasons why I'm reading Bell Hooks right now. Because we need to liberate ourselves. Free ourselves out of that cage of our emotional selves that we're locked in. We got to free our minds, man. That's why I'm reading it as a dude. You know what I'm saying? So this is part of the process. But yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Terry. Charles J says, shouldn't we be trying to deconstruct normative identity politics, white male, Christian, straight, etc., instead of letting them redirect us into a pity party? Yeah, I mean, you know, honestly, we have to get ourselves to that point, but we have to, what's the best way that I can put this? When you see a bouquet of flowers, do you go, I don't like this flower, I don't like that flower, I just wish it was all one flower? Or do you notice and appreciate the beauty of all of it put together? We got to look at ourselves like a bouquet, where we see the beauty in all of us collectively put together. That's what I see. I may not be like you, but I appreciate the beauty in you. And I also see myself in you in different ways. You may, the outside may be different in some ways, but that's okay. We probably have a lot more in common, even though we look completely different. But I cannot let the difference of the outside make me disrespect you or disregard you or wish for your extinction just because you're different on the outside. Because your difference on the outside is not harming me. It ain't doing a damn thing to me. So therefore, why should I hate you? Why should I dislike you? And then, of course, that's going to sabotage my goal into uniting the working class anyway. You know? You're going to have to sit with what I just said, Charles. Sorry. You're going to have to sit with that. Because the thing is that ultimately, you know, like I said, some of them are going to have to throw the bigotry away. But if they throw that bigotry away, and if they're trying their best to unite with us while throwing that away, are you still going to reject them? If they're trying to do the work, if they're showing up in solidarity, got to give people grace, man. Got to give them grace. All right, so what are we talking about today? Hang on, let me check on the Rock Fan. Yeah, we're going to Rock Fan. Let me check on Rumble. We're going on Rumble. Okay. All right. So what are we talking about today? I know it's a little late, but I had to get that conversation in. So, let me take that down. Sorry. Disney wage theft. We're going to be talking about wage theft. We're going to be talking about that. That's going to be a very interesting and good conversation because we got to talk about the mouse. I live in Orlando, and so this was a peak interest to me, especially when we talk about Trump privatized United States Postal Service. That is going to be a wild story. And look, Trump is about to step in it. So this is going to be not good for him. It's not good. It's not good at all. It's not good at all for him. And then we're going to talk about a good news story later. The Uhuru 3 victory. I am excited to talk about this story. living in Orlando and seeing this happen in Tampa, I'm thrilled. All right. Of course, it's a measured thrillness, but I'm thrilled none of the less. So, first thing we're going to discuss, wage theft. This is going to be a story. Zippity doo dah, zippity day, Disney's going to have to pay. My goodness, it is thrilling to me to see a giant a troll that is blocking the bridge from people walking across it, that now the troll gets their comeuppance. So I live in Orlando, where Disney World is, Walt Disney World, which is the biggest theme park in the world, is here. That big, round eared baby that is to the south of me is basically birthed from the concept that was, originally planted in California, I think in Anaheim, California, years ago, from the mind of Walt Disney. And Disneyland, which is in California, so there's Disneyland, California, Disney World, Orlando, Florida, has had to pay, back money in wage theft because they stole wages from workers. And I am happy about it because this absolutely needs to happen. And it makes me excited because, workers need to have a win. So I'm going to share the article about that. And then we're going to talk about wage theft in general. But here's the article here. This is out of the LA Times. It says Disney agrees to pay $233 million settlement in wage theft case. So let's get into this. So this came out 4 days ago. 5 years after workers first took Disneyland to court for allegedly skirting an Anaheim minimum wage law, resort owner Walt Disney Company has agreed to settle a class action lawsuit for $233 million. The company approved a preliminary settlement Friday, which accounts for back pay with interest, as the Anaheim law is set to increase wages in January to nearly $20.50 an hour. What we believe is the largest wage and hour class settlement in California history will change lives for Disney families and their communities. That's from Randy Rennick, an attorney representing the workers in the class action suit. The settlement covers 55,000 current and former Disney employees. Back pay owed to workers from January 1st of 2019, when the wage law first took effect, until the date Disney adjusted wages at the end of the court fight last year, accounts for roughly $105 million of the total settlement. Melissa Partita, 58, has worked in room service at Disney's Grand Californian Hotel in Anaheim since it opened in 2001, and as a tip worker is earning $19.90 an hour under the city's wage law. Nearing retirement age, she expressed gratitude for the coalition of Disney unions that campaigned for the wage law as a ballot initiative in 2018, and the attorneys who litigated the subsequent court case. It is a big win, and we're happy. That's what she says. Says the cost of living here is very expensive. I don't know how much back pay I'm going to get, but whatever it is, I didn't have it before. So here's the thing, and I want to make this abundantly clear. California is number one when it comes to the cost of living in the United States, according to the National Low Income Housing Coalition. The Out of Reach program that they did, they showed that you have to make over $45 an hour just to be able to afford a 2-bedroom apartment in California. And this is a massive wealth disparity actually is $47.38 an hour that you have to make. Let me share this with you guys too, just so that you guys can see the wealth disparity and how much you need to make, because I want to make sure that I share this as well. This is the out of reach that a lot of people, we typically show here on RBN as well as my channel. So the fair market rent for a 2-bedroom apartment is $2,464. In order to afford this level of rent and utilities without paying more than 30% of income on housing, a household must earn $8,212 monthly or $98,545 annually. Assuming a 40-hour work week, 52 weeks per year, this level of income translates to an hourly wage of $47.38 per hour. And some of the most expensive areas are Santa Cruz, Watsonville, San Francisco, San Jose, Sunnyvale, Santa Clara, Santa Maria, Santa Barbara, and Salinas. And these range between $55 an hour to $77.96 per hour that you need to make to afford a 2-bedroom apartment in California. With this being said, this is massive. And so places like Anaheim in California, if they're only making $20, $25 an hour, that means they're making half of what they need to make in order to survive. And so no matter what, wage theft is one of the biggest forms, if not the biggest form of theft in the United States. The people who say, it's funny how the people who say that they are all about law and order. They are all about law and order until the corporations do the crime. Once the corporations do the crime, they're like, new phone, who this? And so this is the problem. But the problem really is because who is heading those corporations? It's not the workers that is heading those corporations. It's not the workers that are owners of those corporations. It's the oligarchs. It's the capitalists. It's the corporate dictators. And because of that, their greed, the shareholders and the CEOs are the ones who are really the biggest blocks to us actually having a living or a thriving wage in states like California, in Texas, Florida, Arkansas, whatever state there is in the union, because they want the money for themselves. They're like goblins. Gimme, gimme, gimme. And so this is why you need to make at least $47.38 an hour in California, or $35 an hour here in Florida, in order to be able to at least survive. To survive. And people are drowning. Workers of one of the biggest corporations in the world is drowning. And they literally had to be sued in order to pay back wages that they should have paid. Should have. This isn't some extra wages that they're paying out. It's stolen, theft. They're criminal. So let's continue and get back to the article. So it says Orange County Superior Court Judge William Claster is set to review the settlement January 17th. Once approved, the notice will go out to every worker with how much money they will receive. The company has been stiffing 55,000 workers for several years. That's from Peter Dreyer. He says they've denied them back pay they're owed while paying the CEO, Bob Iger, over $31 million a year. It's only fair that workers get what's coming to them. And if the world were fair, Iger would take some of it out of his paycheck. Absolutely. As part of the tabulation, Disney agreed to substantial penalties, interest, and other associated fees on top of the back pay owed. This is from Susie Brown. We are pleased that this matter is nearing resolution. Currently, all cast members make at least the Measure L requirement of $19.90 per hour, and in fact, 95% of them make more. The company reached an agreement last summer with 4 unions representing 14,000 workers that raised base pay to $24 an hour. Now, here's the thing. It says $24 an hour. How much did I just tell you that an average worker needs to make in order to afford a 2-bedroom apartment in California? $24 an hour, $47 an hour. You do the math. Disney makes billions upon billions upon billions of dollars every single year. They're giving Bob Iger $31 million a year to run it. How much are the shareholders making in their dividend checks? All because they had a few extra coins and they put it into the stock. And yet, the people who actually make the wealth of Disney, the workers, are making peanuts. Is that fair? Is that just? And you can say, well, no, it's not really fair or just, but what can we do? But then when workers want to go on strike, some of y'all complain. Some of y'all get mad. Some of y'all will say, well, I don't see what they're doing. I mean, they just have to pick themselves up by their bootstraps. They are. They are. That's what they're doing. They're going on strike. They're letting the consumer know, say, hey, you want our labor. Well, our labor is going to cost more. So what are you going to do? But see, this is what happens. They'll find somebody else that's desperate that will accept the starvation wages instead. And then they'll have them come in and do the work. And some of those people also may be undocumented. And that's the sad part. They need a constant influx, a flow of people who are too desperate to say no. See, those people who are too desperate to say no, those were my ancestors back in the day. Now, it's immigrants and people in prison. This is why the system needs to change. The system is a sick system. It's a sick and twisted system. Just like what Kwame Ture said. It's a sick and twisted system. And it absolutely has no need, is not necessary to exist in modern society. People would look at me and go, JB, so what would your fantasy dream Disney World look like? Well, I'm glad you asked. Walt Disney World would be worker owned. Not owned in the sense where all the workers have stock options. No. It would be worker owned and operated. All the workers have a democratic say in the major operations of the company. And then they all get profit sharing checks, which they all vote on at the end of each year. all management, all supervisory, management, and executive roles are voted on by every single member, and every single member gets one vote. One worker, one vote. Nobody gets more than one. And everybody, from the janitor to the CEO, they all get a chance to vote on who. And the CEO is a democratic position. They can be voted out by the janitors, by the people who work in food service, by the ride operators, by the people who work the craft services at the studios, by the people who man the phones for the resorts. Yes, those will be the people who vote that person in or out. Nobody in any management or corporate position would ever be allowed to stay there unless the workers say that they can. That's the type of Disney I think what should exist. Bob Iger, if Disney were a worker co-op, Bob Iger would not be getting $31 million in a year. Hail to the no. He will be earning closer to what pretty much almost all of the Disney workers on average make. Because is he working that much harder? He's a glorified coordinator. That's what he is. Glorified coordinator. You do your 40 hours a week, you coordinate, and you go home. People look at me like I'm crazy, but I'm like, no. The workers are what make Disney Disney. So let's finish this article. So the dispute between Disney and its workers dates back to February 2018, with the Coalition of Resort Labor Unions released a Working for the Mouse survey. Co-authored by Dreyer and Daniel Fleming, the study detailed economic hardships faced by Disney workers at the time, including the finding that almost 3/4 of those surveyed said that they didn't earn enough money to cover basic expenses. The reports released arrived in tandem with a living wage ballot initiative campaign championed by the Union Coalition. Anaheim voters voted Measure L, as the wage law is known, that year. Starting in January of 2019, it ordered a minimum wage of $15 an hour for companies in the Anaheim resort that enjoyed tax rebate agreements with the city. Disney did not adjust wages in accordance with the law while negotiating pay raises with individual theme park unions and union councils. In response, Disney workers filed a class action lawsuit in December 2019 that represented 25,000 employees and alleged that the company illegally evaded the wage law. Disney's attorneys argued that the court did not have the tax rebate agreements with Anaheim and was not subject to the terms of the law. At the company's insistence, the Anaheim City Council tore up a 45-year gate tax moratorium and a $267 million bed tax agreement for a planned luxury hotel at downtown Disney before the election. Judge Callister initially agreed with Disney in 2021, but the 4th District Court of Appeal reversed the ruling because a taxable rebate agreement was embedded within a 1996 Disney expansion deal passed by the Anaheim City Council. Disney appealed the decision, but the California Supreme Court declined to hear the case, which effectively ended its legal fight against the wage law. It is a win for the workers that struck it out the resort. And it's a win for the workers that left because they couldn't stand it anymore, but are now getting back pay. It is a testament to their resilience and the fortitude of the labor movement and the workers. So this is a win for the workers. I say that in a measured way because it should be the workers honestly are what make Disney Disney. If the workers were to suddenly leave, Disney would not operate. It would not, it just couldn't operate. And so this is why I think it's absolutely important that we have solidarity with the workers, all the workers. And let me share this as well, because I wanted to, I wanted to share how big of an issue wage theft is. So let me share this as well. Just allow me to. I'll just do it right here. So this is from 2018. This is a graph. And I want to show you this. So look at this box. I want you guys to see this, right? I want you to see how much is theft is done from robbery per year. This is from 2018. Look, robbery is this little itty bitty purple line down here. Robbery, $0.34 billion a year that is in robbery. This is from 2018 now. 2018. So we're talking 6 years. The next biggest is auto theft. Auto theft is $3.8 billion a year. Burglary, $4.10 billion a year. Larceny, $5.3 billion a year. These are the different types of theft that are done per year. And if you want to add them all up, let me see, 7, 5, 12. So about around $13 billion a year. So about all this together is around $13 billion a year in theft. Just from the average Joe workers and stuff like that, right? Or, maybe some white collar crime, right? White collar crime, things like that. But all this in blue, So first one, off the clock violations, 3.2 billion. Rest break violations, $4 billion. Overtime violations, $8.8 billion. Just these three alone. 3 and 4 is 7. 7 and 8 is 15. So we're already greater than this. Just this alone. But then when you add minimum wage violations, we are at $23.2 billion. This is almost $40 billion of wage theft back in 2018. We're in 2024 right now. Do you think that number went down? When Disney has to pay back over $200 million in wage theft violations? Imagine how much wage theft violations are being done by Walmart, Kellogg's, Kroger, Apple, NBC Universal, ExxonMobil, AT&T. Just think of all the wage theft violations that is being done right now. And you mean to tell me that we should just keep capitalism in place? Capitalism. I love the way Richard Wolff expressed this. If capitalism is such a success story, then why in the world is the United States 5% of the world's population but has 25% of the world's prisoners if capitalism is such a success? And I guarantee you, if workers actually made a living or thriving wage, I guarantee you that the robberies, the larcenies, the auto thefts, and all these different things will actually go down. Because some of these things are actually done because of lack of opportunity and lack of and increased desperation. Because people are hurting. I'm not saying it would go away completely, but it would definitely be reduced. Because why would you steal if you don't have a need to? If you're able to have all the things that you need: housing, healthcare, food, education, clean water, transportation. The need to do larceny, burglary, auto theft, or robbery would go down. And so this is why it's so important to focus on these stories. And also, like Roger Meadows always talks about, using the tools that we have in order to change the system. You see what they said. They did a ballot initiative, right? Without that ballot initiative being in place, would they be able to do this? So if you can, then try to think of different ballot initiatives that you can think of in order to change, in order to stiff it to the corporations. We got to think of different, more elegant ways to stiff it to the organizations, right? Stiff it to ways in the organizations that don't have blowback on us, while we still organize in these streets in order to change the system fundamentally. But that's what we can do. But I'm happy that they were able to do that. Good on them. You know, this is a good story, but we can do better. We can do better. We can definitely do better. All right, so go ahead and give a like. Thank you so very much to everybody. Let's check into the chats to see if anybody got some things to say. I know y'all got some things to say. We appreciate you. Thank you so very much. All right, boom, boom, boom. We're good on the Rockfin. I'm sorry, Rumble. Let's go into the Rockfin. We're good on the Rockfin. All right, so let's go into the rest of the chat. Let me see. Waddy says Disney's thievery makes the Pirates of the Caribbean look like the Salvation Army. Oh, yeah. You're absolutely right. Chris C says Bob Iger is a criminal at Disney, longtime executive, along with the other Bob Chapek. Yeah, they actually let Bob Chapek go because I think part of it was because he was his leadership. He wanted to push out from Marvel Studios, especially all these movies, boom, 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 and he saturated the market, right? And so they were like, it's not working with Bob Chapek. We need Bob Iger back. So they pulled Bob Iger out of retirement and they were like, all right, we're going to give you $30 million a year. Bob Iger was like, all right, fine. You're going to give me the money. Okay, cool. And so now Bob Iger is like, okay, we're going to not do as many movies. We're just going to do some properties here and there. And we're going to like trim the fat and just do these select movies per year. This is part of the reason why you had all these different projects that were coming out from Marvel, especially. And then next thing you know, now 2 movies a year again. Maybe. And then the Disney Plus shows and things like that. So, but the thing is that ultimately, these CEOs, I mean, they have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders, right? So the ultimately is to make more profit for the shareholders. The problem, you know what? I'm gonna be real with you. The problem is shareholders. We shouldn't have them. The stakeholders, which are the workers, yes. Shareholders, no. No, because the shareholders, they're like, oh, well, they're the investors. I'm like, who invests their time, energy, and resources in order to go to that job, in order to be able to sell, those smoked turkey legs? Who does that? It's the workers. So therefore, they're the ones who are actually the ones that deserve to be able to make part of the profits. It just, these people, I can't stand cabbies, man. I can't stand them. They get on my damn nerves. Always wanted stiff people riding on the dime of workers. Can't stand it. Let me see here. Bryce says gravity wins all the time when you try to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And the part about pull yourself up by your bootstraps, what's the best way I can put it? It was made as making fun of the idea of being self-made. Like nobody's self-made in human history. Like you literally had to depend on others in order to get, yourself up. Like there's no such thing as self-made. Like some people will say, well, I started with, like some people will say, well, my parent came here on Ellis Island. They only had $20 in their pocket and they made this empire. And I'm like, okay, but who built the roads? Who built the bridges? Who provided the initial housing? Who did all these different things in order for them to have something sustainable first, and then they built from there? Somebody else did that. Nobody's self-made. Everybody has help. So, yeah. Lauren says a lot of them are undocumented. Yeah, it's quite unfortunate. Jacqueline asked, how many of those Disneyland employees are unhoused or about to be unhoused? I'm willing to bet some are living in their cars. Yeah. Sean Miller says a lot. Yeah. That's what's sad. Like nobody working for your company should be unhoused. Nobody. It's crazy. It's wild. Yes, Savita, you're talking about, being a voted position by all the workers. Yeah, CEO should be a democratically elected position from all the workers. One person, one vote, right? And yes, Lauren, and Disney parks would be fully accessible. Yeah. I'm willing to bet that if workers own Disney, the ticket prices would actually be lower because they would want more people to come into the parks. Because here's the thing. If you were to lower the ticket prices and lower the ticket prices by about 65%, people are going to look at me crazy for this. You lower the ticket prices by 65%, and then you lower the food prices by 50%, and the merchandise prices by 35%, right? All those people who couldn't afford now can afford. And if they go, guess what they're going to do? They're going to get hungry. They're going to get thirsty. They're going to want something to have to take home with them. But now they can afford it. Now, also, if it's owned by the workers, the shareholders are not going to be pulling in all that money. So all that profit goes to who? The workers. And then, because all these people now can afford it, there's an influx of money that comes in. Because it's not just for the privileged, it's for the masses. And so then the workers at Disney make massive amounts of money, and it gets evenly distributed among all the workers. And guess what? The workers are able to live well. Well, if they can live well, then they can afford housing, and then they can go to the stores and the shops. And then if they can go to the stores and the shops and they're making a thriving wage, then guess what? They're going to do what? They're going to spend their money outside of Disney. And if they spend their money outside of Disney, those mom and pop shops, those small businesses, those bars, those restaurants, those clothing stores, all those other places, people are going to start shopping more at those and spending more money, which means that it's also going to benefit who? The small businesses. You know, it's funny. I get called idiot, stupid, ignoramus. I get called the R word on Twitter all the time now. It's crazy. It's, ableist as hell. But the funny part is, what I just say, did that not make sense? I don't have a college education. I just don't believe that people should be exploited. It's weird. What do you think, Lauren? Because yes, Marty, yes, that's crazy. It's like democracy at work. What a concept, right? Leroy says Disney can afford paying back wage staff. Problem is how many people can handle missing out of those funds over a year. How much I could have helped people. It's gross. Yeah. It is. You're absolutely correct on that. I agree. Roger says, what's in your hand? Adam Clayton Powell Jr. JB, this must be the rallying cry. Damn right, Roger. Damn right. Andrew says, and they're using bootstrap theory to try and shame Luigi because they got nothing else. Yep. Roger says, yes, baby, the shareholders. CEO ain't got no real power. No, that's the thing. Shareholders, like, they need to go. They need to go. Charles J says, JB, have you heard of the rotating leadership, where individuals take turns leading based on the needs of the group? I think remember reading some about it being prevalent in some indigenous American societies. That sounds interesting, Charles. Where individuals take turn leading based on the needs of the group. I like that, though. Chuck, tell me more. Tell me more. I like that. I like that. Roger says, always remember, no matter how you feel about unions, they can't stop your job from being outsourced. Yeah, this is why I'm more for worker co-ops. Now, I say a union is a step in the right direction, just like I would say Medicare for all is a step in the right direction. But what we really need is a full nationalization of our healthcare system, because there are some flaws in this single-payer healthcare system. Because the doctors, the hospitals, the medical device manufacturers, all these different places are still going to charge the government up the wazoo for their services. No. I say that the community, or the communities actually own the hospitals, right? The government, the manufacturer, the device manufacturers, the rehab centers, and all these different things. I say the same thing as far as worker ownership. I say unions are nice because they're a step in the right direction, but of course, union leadership can get in the way. Unions can't stop your jobs from being outsourced. But if it's worker owned, you can't outsource something that you own. Workers are not going to outsource their own jobs. So this is why it is important to focus on, we got to swing for the fence, y'all. We got to swing for the fence. That's basically what it is. So what we're going to do now is we are going to go to the next story. I am going to do that. But first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a shout out to the patrons on Patreon, because without you guys, I would not be able to do this work. You guys make this possible, and I am so grateful. I'm grateful. Maybe you want to shed a tear. All right, let's go in and see all the tears from when I shed a tear. We have mega Jaybefaunters, super duper Jaybefaunters, super Jaybefaunters, Jaybefaunters, comrades, solidarity, and JB members. And I just want to say thank you to new members, Song Weaver and Magesh. You love me. You really, really love me. Oh gosh, I love to thank my mama, my teacher, Ms. Dagon from kindergarten at Orange Center Elementary. I like to thank my parole officer, and I like to thank Louis Farrakhan. All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Just a little reminder, guys, Jaybefaunt is monetized. So if you like to support the channel, you can support it via Patreon or PayPal. It is very much appreciated from all of y'all. So thank you. All right. So let's get into the next story. This is going to be, oh gosh. Donnie. Donnie, can't you see? Sometimes your words debilitate me. Oh, privatize the United States Postal Service. What in the heck is Donnie saying? I do not support this man, but this dude just stepped in it. Oh, man. Donald Trump is getting some flack, at least from some people on the left. Well, of course, he's always getting flack from people on the left, but he made a proposal that sounds just off the wall. But this has been going on for years. You have people like Louis DeJoy that's been trying to work towards this. Then you also have, of course, the Republican Party wanting to do this as well. And so with this, I say, yeah, if you do this, you're actually going to destroy whatever support that you had, especially in regards to, you're going to lose your support from your base, essentially. Hang on. I think I accidentally, sorry guys. I had the, here it is. Okay. So let me share this with you guys. It's not good. It's not good. Not good at all. Not very good. Bad hombre. Bad hombre. It's not very good.
Well, there is talk about the Postal Service being taken private. You do know that. Not the worst idea I've ever heard. It really isn't. You know, it's a lot different today with between Amazon and UPS and FedEx and all the things that you didn't have. But there is talk about that. It's an idea that a lot of people have liked for a long time. We're looking at it. I think we're looking at that along with a lot of us.
Billy.
Donnie, come on.
Well, there is talk about the Postal Service being taken private. You do know that. Not the worst idea I've ever heard. It really isn't. You know, it's a lot different today with between Amazon and UPS and FedEx and all the things that you didn't have. But there is talk about that. It's an idea that a lot of people have liked for a long time. We're looking at it. I think we're looking at that along with a lot of us.
Don, this will be your Obamacare with the mandates. This will be a disaster. Disaster. Do you know how bad this would be for you? Look, all of those people who support you out in the rural areas that get their mail, packages, medications mail ordered to them. By the way, I get my medications mail ordered to me. It's not going to look good for you. What do companies do? Let's say they successfully privatized the United States Postal Service. And in privatizing it, then in order to make profits, what are they going to have to do? They're going to have to fire a lot of people. And in firing a lot of people, then many people are going to have the service to them stopped. Why? Because it's not profitable to do so. You see, here's the thing that government can do that corporations and businesses can't. Governments can operate at a loss. because governments are currency issuers, not currency users. So therefore, they can create the funding in order to be able to do it. And even if you wanted to reduce the amount of inflation, then you can increase taxes on the wealthiest among us in order to keep that inflation from happening. So the government can constantly operate at a loss because it is a good and service of the people. A company can't do that because then they can't make profit. But a government doesn't need profit because it's not a business. And when it comes to common sense, when it comes to a wrestling of common sense, this person who I was talking to on Twitter, they're being pinned. And they were like, no, government is a business. They have to pay and blah, blah. I'm just like, no. When people say, I run a business and I'm going to run a government like a business, that is the worst thing because businesses have customers, governments have citizens, and citizens need goods and services, public goods and services, in order for them to be okay. You can't just do it like customers, right? So I'm going to have to do this. I hate Louis Varney, but I'm going to have to. Because I'm going to have to debunk. I hate this. This is the one part of the job that I do not like. Some of these corporate shills.
The Postal Service could be in for an overhaul. President-elect Trump is considering privatization. Jeff Locke in Philadelphia. All right, Jeff. Now, we know the Postal Service lost $100 billion since 2007. Tell me how much they lost in 2024.
Oh, you're always so concerned with money. I don't understand it. $10 billion, by the way, but you know, who's counting, for crying out loud? Well, apparently the once and future president is counting, and Mr. Trump says he is thinking about, well, he hasn't said it publicly, but reports say he is thinking about privatizing the Postal Service. According to the Washington Post, actually, he has talked with his incoming, or at least potential incoming Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, about privatizing the service and saying he doesn't think that the company or the Postal Service should be subsidized anymore. As you point out, they lost a lot of money, but hey, they've got a big mandate. Take a look at these numbers. 167 million addresses that it is mandated it must deliver to. 500,000 career employees to do that, and 31,000 properties owned or leased around the country. But it delivers 44% of all of the world's mail. Pretty impressive. Yeah, you mentioned 100 billion. I mentioned the 10 billion. Those are the losses. And the Postmaster General Louis DeJoy, was on Capitol Hill last week.
So let's take a look at these numbers, right? $9.5 billion lost just in 2024 alone, right? It's mid-December, so it's pretty much, $9.5 billion for the entire year, right? I don't foresee it going up another, $500 million. And then $100 billion since 2007. Okay. So give or take 17 years. $100 billion over 17 years. Okay. Let me ask y'all one question. Now, remind you, I don't have a college degree, right? I'm just your average Joe. I got an IQ of 94? Who's counting? But yeah, I actually have an IQ of 94. Let me ask you this. Which department in the government failed its 7th audit and can't account for $21 trillion. And let me ask you, which is more important? $100 billion or 21 trillion? 100 billion? 21 trillion. Oh. Wait. Let me ask you this. How much is the Department of Defense budget? Go on. I know you know. Mr. Varney, let's be real. Where are your priorities? Oh, it lost $100 billion over since 2007. Okay. But you know where that money went. Are you talking about the Pentagon, Louis Varney? Varney, are you talking about the Department of Defense? What they getting? Over $800 billion a year, Louis? What are you talking about? How we're spending hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine, Louis? How much money did we give to Israel? See, that's the thing. Everybody and their mama is talking about, oh my gosh, we got to get rid of money for workers and their pensions. Like people like Vivek Ramaswamy is saying some smarmy corporatist BS about trying to cut workers and their pensions in the government. Then you have this BS about privatizing the United States Postal Service. And I'm just like, but wait a minute, you guys got a big old pie chart and a huge chunk of it is defense spending, but y'all don't ever want to touch that. And y'all think I'm dumb because I didn't go to college? Oh, Lord. I need an Advil. What in the hell? All right, I don't want to continue. I don't want to continue this. And by the way, take the poll. Please take the poll, because this is going to be an absolute disaster if Trump actually does this. It's going to be a disaster. Let's continue.
And he got an earful from one Republican congressman from Georgia. And, Louis DeJoy appointed, he's a Republican, by during the Trump administration. Here's the exchange. Quite amusing. Listen.
You, sir, do not get an A grade. You cannot give yourself that grade.
I just did.
You can't.
I am trying to fix
On your watch.
He's like, you can't give yourself an A grade. Louis DeJoy said, I just did. The fuck you mean? I just did. I'm Louis DeJoy. All right. I give myself an A grade. I don't care. Oh gosh! Look at this! Look, wait!
I just did.
You can't.
Oh gosh!
I am trying to fix
On your
the Postal
watch.
Service.
With all the AI.
Before my watch, the same stuff
With
happened.
all
first.
the AI, with all the computer systems.
You should have seen the way it happened before my watch. I fixed the services. I fixed it. I was able to get more mail than everybody else out here. And then you're getting on me about the grade. I give myself an A because I pulled us out of a disaster. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, we got good fellas running the United States Postal Service. Oh man, shave Joe Pesci's head and then have him play Louis DeJoy.
computer systems, you're worse than if I took
You're
a
talking
horse
to yourself.
and picked up the mail and delivered it 2 miles down the road. That's you. I hope you got that on camera.
Yeah, he got it on camera, that's for sure. I would love to just do that sometimes, Mr. Varney. Sometimes even when I'm
I don't care about what Mr. Varney has to say. But that was hilarious. But let's be real with you. Like, Louis DeJoy also thinks that this should be privatized too. And Louis DeJoy is not the guy who I would basically, says the paragon of wanting to save the United States Postal Service. But at the same time, I'm just like, look, you're going to operate at a loss because people need their mail. It's a service. It's a public good, right? That's what it is. And people who think that we shouldn't have it as a public good are people who are the most privileged among us. I want to share this tweet as well, because this is deeply important for us to see. These guys are crazy. Thank you to Barbie Agitprop says, I don't think a lot of people realize how much domestic business runs on USPS. Look at this picture. Look at this, right? Domestic business runs on United States Postal Service. My gosh. And then Barbie Agitprop says, for perspective, each one of those is about $4.50, and there's about 30 in each bin. And this is a light day for the season. So all these small businesses that actually use the United States Postal Service. So now the businesses are going to be operating more at a loss, because now if the USPS is essentially privatized, then that means the prices for their parcels, for their mailing, for their shipping is going to go up. Let's take a look at this. This is a factoid that somebody added in. Oh My F Cow says USPS currently delivers 55% of the United States medications. People will die. This is not just a funny, laughing matter. This is also a serious one. You're literally going to be putting people's lives at risk because you want to privatize one of the goods and services that we have been having in this country for 240 some odd years. This is no laughing matter. Donald, if you privatize this service, you are done. You are finished. This will be your Obamacare. And trust me, do not get it confused. I do not support either party. But I am saying this right now. If you privatize the United States Postal Service, you are dooming your own supporters to death. This is why it is so important to change this system. And no amount of tweaking is going to help it. This is why trying to go through the Democratic Party is not going to help. Because Louis DeJoy was the Postmaster General under Trump. Who kept him there? Who wants to actually privatize it? Joe Biden. He kept them under that job. He could have put somebody in who actually wants to keep the service and expand it and make it more efficient, but keep it there, right? For people. But he didn't. And now you got Trump talking about, that sounds like a good idea. It sounds like a pretty good idea. Number one, hundreds, if not thousands of UPS workers will lose their jobs. They'll probably cut within a 10-year period. I can see them cutting at least half of all the jobs, number one. Number two, they'll cut the services, especially the rural areas, because it's not profitable. Number three, people who work for the post office, pensions will get cut. Pay will get cut. Hours will get cut. Safety regulations will get cut. Right? The things that are used to make it work efficiently are going to get cut, or they're going to be allowed to age so that they do not work properly because they don't want to spend the money to keep and update the systems. Just look at some of the airlines. And so because of that, this is why it's important that I honestly do think that man, I wish we had a federal version of a ballot initiative so that we can make a federal ballot initiative. It could just be like 5 questions, right? But this is why we have to change the system fundamentally, because they're going to privatize everything in the United States. And once everything's privatized, then most people aren't going to be able to afford it. You're going to have to give away your spleen, your left lung, and your nipple just to be able to afford something. But this is why I say this is bad. Don, if you do this, this will be bad for you. And you know what? I don't want it to happen, but the accelerationist in me says, do it, Don. Go ahead. Do it. See what happens to you. And I hope something like that would actually unite the working class even more, for them to wake up and see, oh, this guy, he's not for us either. Because Donald Trump is a con man. Like, these are the same people that support these CEOs that cry because we don't care about CEOs in this country. These are the people who cry about us, that we should care about the shareholders. We don't give a damn about the shareholders because they don't give a damn about us. Thank you to Proud Socialists for this. This is from Business Insider. Panera founder says employees today aren't motivated by the idea of making money for shareholders. Nobody cares. Look at this. Look at that. Nobody cares. Maybe if y'all actually did care about us, then maybe we would care about you. But yeah, that is reciprocal, baby. Nobody cares. Nobody cares my ass. Y'all need to start actually coughing up the money instead of taking all that money and getting your dividend checks. Simple solution: make the employees the shareholders and watch society transform. I agree. Thank you so very much, Proud Socialist. And if you ever get to see this, please come on. I would love to have a conversation. But it's crazy. Like, These people are sitting here crying, talking about, we just need to care about the shareholders. The shareholders matter. Shareholders' lives matter. I cannot believe this, man. Now some of these people wonder why Peter Thiel was sweating bullets. He was sweating more than R. Kelly in court. Because he realizing that the actual working masses do not like them. We never liked them, actually. Trying to think. I think, was there something else I was supposed to share? No. But yeah. And then on top of that, you guys got the wage stuff that I just talked about earlier. And then that Pew Research poll that came out where workers are talking about how they're fine about their job security, but they do not like the wages that they're being paid. And then there's another poll that was taken where 20% of people in the poll were saying that they had to spend $100% of their paychecks on their rent. And then another 22% were saying that they had to get a second job just to help pay their rent. And then you had another chunk of workers who were saying that they had to get monthly gifts from family members or friends in order to be able to survive and pay their rent. Monthly gifts, meaning you got $5, you got $10, you got $20, you got $100 I can have. Or they're texting your family members for money on their Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. And you want to privatize the USPS? That's your answer? To raise prices on small businesses and people who need their mail? In the words of Lucius Fox from Batman, good luck. All right. Like the stream. Thank you so very much. Appreciate it. Let's go into the chat. Let me check on the Rumble side. See if we have any. Oh, we got some chats in the Rumble. So let's go there. Let me share my screen. I hated it. Okay, from Sojourner says, when services are not being provided, fascism, crony corporate capitalism, private public partnership is infesting this collective tool. And just who gets to own the USPS? The same people wanting to depopulate the Arath Earth. Worse than the insurance companies. Oh boy, you have. Boy, you saying it, because guess what? They thought Luigi was bad. You hate to be that guy who is the CEO. Not good. Not good at all. All right, so we're good on the Rockfin side. Let's go on to the general chat. Ooh. Charles J said, calling the U.S. a modern or a society is an overstatement. I concede. I concede to that point. Okay. Rondo says, I didn't say we're just. Oh, sorry. You guys are having a conversation. Yeah, Jacqueline says they don't care. They'll just write it off as an acceptable loss or something. They're completely inhumane. Yeah. Savita says, they're so backwards. I go to India and I feel like it has grown leaps in 20 years, and I have not seen any changes in the United States. And the United States is a boring place. Why? Because there's no small businesses. Yeah. Yeah. Christy says the Dems won't do anything except grandstand because there's a bill sitting on Biden's desk to end the retirement funding that libs complain about. They're going to let USPS fail too. Yeah. Because it's another fundraising tool that they can have, right? They'll dangle that in front of your face and say, if you vote for us, we'll restore the USPS back to being a public good, and then people will donate to their ActBlue, and then they won't do a damn thing because they need to fundraise for the next year or the next cycle. Black Ronin says the whole country will be like Monaco or Switzerland, where you have to be rich to live there. And then it's like, and then where we go, right? It'd be funny if we all just went to China and then we helped build up China, and China will stay socialist. And then they're like, oh my God, China is becoming even worse. They're becoming an even bigger economic power. What do we do? It's like capitalism. It will sell the rope that it will hang itself with. It sells us the rope. Kate Max says, hey, JB, how are you doing? Sorry, I'm late. You don't have to apologize for being late. Good to see you. I'm doing good. The tea is almost finished, but yeah. Thank you so very much. All right. Roger says, peep DM. Oh, Lord. Roger, what are you sending me? Oh, gosh. Okay. Hold up. Wait a minute. You got a picture of me up in here? All right, I'll share. Why not? All right. Roger says, the United States Postal Service has its roots in the U.S. Constitution, specifically Article 1, Section 8, Clause 7, also known as the Postal Clause. It says, establish post offices and postal roads. Congress has the power to establish post offices and post roads, including planning, laying out, clearing, and surfacing. Designate mail routes or routes. It says the post office has the authority to designate mail routes, regulate the mail. The post office has the power to carry, deliver, and regulate mail. Designate non-mailable materials. The post office can designate certain materials as non-mailable. Criminalize postal abuses. The post office has the laws that criminalize abuses of the postal system, such as mail fraud and armed robbery of post offices. First substantive postal law passed in 1792. You know what's interesting? That's when my fifth great grandfather was born in 1792. He was born in Virginia as a slave. He died knowing how to read and write, though, which is cool. This one. Okay. Let me share this. It says the first substantive postal law was passed in 1792. making the Postal Service a permanent part of the federal government. The Post Office Act of 1792 includes provisions to protect freedoms of the press and personal correspondence privacy. This is another point, because if the post office is no longer a public good, then you can also essentially go through people's mail, because the government will want to push the private company to be able to go through your mail, kind of like what they do with Twitter, just in a more physical way. Like, do we really want the government to do that? And they can have plausible deniability? It's just crazy, man. I really do not like this idea. Let me share. I'll just read it, because I don't want to show the inside of your DMs, Roger. I, respecting privacy. But Roger says the post office is in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 7 of the United States Constitution. To get rid of the Postal Service, it's not just going to be a simple majority in the House and filibuster-proof Senate majority in both chambers of Congress. What will be needed is a 290 congressional members, 66 senators to propose an amendment to the states, and both chambers of state legislators of 38 states to ratify. Outside of that, the legislative filibuster in the Senate still exists, and the Senate GOP don't even have a filibuster-proof majority. This also applies to those who wish to do away with the IRS. Also, I didn't know Clayton Bigsby was a true story. Wait. Clayton Bigsby was a true story? For real? I mean, I didn't know that, but I can see it happening. And he says, when did most employees ever care about shareholders? Most employees don't know what shareholders are. Well, I mean, some employees do know who shareholders are, but they don't know who the shareholders are. But yeah, thank you very much for that, Roger. Appreciate it. Candle's vote says privatizing the Postal Service may not be that easy. In my understanding, is actually a provision for the Postal Service in the Constitution that will have to be changed. Yeah, Rogers got to finish telling me that. Lauren says the USPS, like a lot of federal agencies, needs massive improvements and better funding, not dismantling. I absolutely agree. Also, by the way, in this point, they make it work worse to make an excuse to get rid of it. That's what they do. It's called death by 1,000 cuts. They're doing the same thing. Like, look, you can ask Jacqueline in the chat. She's in the UK. They did the same thing to the NHS. They're trying to privatize the United Health Service in the UK, but in order to do that, they have to make it look like it is inefficient. So they cut and cut and cut. So then by the time, people are like, what's the point of having this? Then they'll privatize it and say, see, we can privatize it and make it work better. And then that's when everybody's prices go up and they start going through what we're going through here. Yeah, go ahead and ask her, because she'll tell you. All right. Yeah, exactly. They underfund it, so it gives them an excuse to dismantle. Yep. Lynette says, tax all the competitors to fund the United States Postal Services, raise their taxes instead of our postal rates. See, not hard. I mean, if we have to tax heavier Amazon, UPS, and FedEx. I don't have a problem with that in order to give more money to USPS. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, they're not paying their workers much like they should be anyway. Can you imagine the USPS operating like UPS or FedEx? Can you imagine? Makes me want to break out in hives. Anyway, let's go to the next story. I want to finish this up. It is 4:30. I'm late, but it is. I want to end on a good note. You guys want to end on a good note? When you guys want to end on a good story? Let's do that. Now, let's wind it up. Wind it up, baby. Uhuru 3. Victorious. Oh my goodness. This is a wonderful story. I am very happy to announce this to you guys. I have been wanting to share this since I found out yesterday, and this is going to be a beautiful one. Okay. So, as you all know, I'm in Orlando, Florida. I'm about an hour and a half away from Tampa. In Tampa, the Uhuru 3, so that is Chairman Omali Yeshitela, Penny Hess, and Jesse Neville, also known as the Uhuru 3, who were in court, federal court, for being unofficial, foreign agents. Essentially, that's what they're being charged with. I think they were facing 5 years each for the charges that the Biden Department of Justice was trying to tag them with. Well, essentially, did they beat the charges and get exonerated? No, but they got something close. Let me share this with you guys. And I'm going to share it from Black Alliance for Peace because I want to go through them. I want to go through them instead of corporate media because, they're good peoples. So I want to go through Black Alliance for Peace. Okay. So here is the good news. So the Biden administration fails to win imprisonment of the Uhuru 3. So this happened yesterday. And let me share it with you guys. It says the Biden administration fails to win imprisonment of the Uhuru 3. Members of the Uhuru movement, Omali Yeshitela, Penny Hess, and Jesse Neville, the Uhuru 3 were sentenced to 3 years probation. 3 years probation and community service after being convicted in September 2024 of supposedly conspiring with the Russian government to interfere in U.S. elections. The Black Alliance for Peace recognizes that this sentence is confirmation that the charges against Uhuru members by the Biden administration Department of Justice were baseless, while any sentence handed down from imperialist courts for actions that are supposed to be legally protected are in themselves illegitimate. The refusal of the judge to incarcerate the Uhuru 3 is a victory in the fight against the repressive U.S. regime, regardless of which wing of the finance capital bird leads it. So here's the thing. While I am celebrating, I am still frustrated because they're still, in a sense, being punished for something that they didn't do. Even though it is it's community service and just probation. It's like probation for what? Like, what did they actually do? They didn't actually do anything, and yet you're putting them on probation. You're forcing them to do community service, which they do by default. Like, they are literally a community service organization. But you're still punishing them for essentially just talking shit about the US government while it's an election season. Let me ask you something. If they're guilty of doing that, what are all y'all guilty of? See what I mean? Because if they're able to still find them guilty, that's a slippery slope. Because, yeah, it is a good thing that they're not getting prison time, which I am grateful for, right? Chairman O'Malley used to tell us in his 80s, right? Even still, they should have been exonerated. There should have been an exoneration. Not, oh, we still think you're guilty. No sentence. Nothing should have happened to them. The charges should have been dropped. They should have been exonerated. They should have been shown that they were not any type of unofficial Russian agent at all. They were just expressing their First Amendment rights. And the problem is the Biden administration fought tooth and nail to make sure to go against their free speech rights. And let me ask you this, where was the Trump administration in defending them in their free speech rights? So neither side, neither party was ever going to assist them, was ever going to lend their voice for free speech, because neither major party believes in free speech. Did Donald Trump ever go to visit the Uhuru 3 and lend his support and say, I believe in free speech, and so I'm going to stand with you, even though we disagree on fundamentally on a lot? Let's continue. The attack on the African People's Socialist Party and the Uhuru movement was intended as an attack against the Black liberation movement in a pathetic move to intimidate into silence the non-resistance and most consistent anti-imperialist force in the United States of America, the revolutionary African working class. That was from Ajimo Baraka, chair of the coordinating committee for the Black Alliance for Peace. What the state did not understand was that no matter what the outcome would have been in the sentencing of the Uhuru 3, the resistance efforts on the part of our movement was going to intensify in 2025. Our movement cannot be intimidated by state actions. The government's weak case was punctuated by its own witness admitting under oath that under no evidence was found that proved the 3 defendants were agents of the Russian government. But the overwhelming volume of that meaningless evidence also confused the jury into finding the 3 guilty of conspiring to do something that there was no evidence that they did. This is not logical, but logic is never the goal of the government when it comes to silencing dissent, which was certainly the goal of the Biden administration in this case. It is interesting to note that it was a Trump-appointed judge who exposed the glaring contradiction in the indictment and conviction of Uhuru 3. During the sentencing, he declared that the group's actions were protected political speech that caused no harm and must be allowed, or it gets chilled. The irony of a Trump appointee defending free speech on a trial meant to imprison Africans for exercising it should be lost on no one. The U.S. left a also played a role in the 2-year ordeal by acquiescing to the threat of Democrat-led government repression with little resistance and deafening silence, whether due to fear of being next or of their belief in the Democrat-created lie of Russiagate, or because of their own internal Russophobia, or worse, anti-communism, even though Russia is not a communist country any longer. The lack of support given to the Uhuru 3 reminds US-based African anti-imperialists that we are largely on our own. We understand, therefore, that our greatest strength is in international solidarity with like-minded and focused peoples around the world. Black Alliance for Peace reiterates its unwavering support for the Uhuru 3 and congratulates them on this outcome. We also recognize that this is but one small victory in a larger ongoing battle against the imperialist repression that we must continue to fight. The 60 Stop Cop City protesters facing RICO charges in Atlanta are next on the firing line of the same repressive Democrat-led government. We should not merely hope for a sympathetic judge, Trump appointed or otherwise, to stand between the people exercising our rights and the state trying to deny them and criminalize us. Black Alliance for Peace declares that we are at war. We must fight against the system regardless who is in power. But we are not fighting alone. We fight with the entire anti-imperialist world already engaged in the struggle against the U.S. regime that represses us all. No compromise, no retreat. Well, that is from them. And I just want to say congratulations. I honestly do think that it is a travesty that they are still not. I think it's a travesty that they're still not exonerated. And like I said, yes, I'm happy they're not getting any prison time. But even still, it's measured. My congratulations is measured, but I hope that that we can, change the system so that no more people are subject to this like the Uhuru 3 were. But we'll see. I also want to share a speech by Scott Ritter. Let's take a look and listen.
Speak out. I'm going to spend 2.5 years standing to judgment in front of a court that never loses. Yeah. And so they shut up. They don't just shut up, they don't listen. If this is going to work, if your movement's going to work, you have to bring people like me into it so that I can listen to you, that we can share things, that we can grow, not as a black nationalist movement, but as an American movement together to try and right the wrongs. But we can't do that if we don't communicate, and we can't communicate if we don't speak, and we're not going to speak if the government thinks that it can charge us, make us spend a whole bunch of money for 2.5 years to what? Get a probation sentence. Is this what the government did? This wasn't about you, Chairman. This is about me. This is about everybody in the city of Tampa, everybody in America, because it can happen across, well, I'll talk about Americans first speech, and across the world too. But the point is, what they did here is an assault on every American. I don't know why the people driving, the people at home, you should be here too. This is your fight. They fight your fight, and the fight's not over, Chairman. I'm going to commit myself to working with you, going to St. Louis, and learning about you.
So that was Scott Ritter, with the Uhuru 3. That was it's, this is why we say it is a measured victory. Thank you to Scott Ritter for your words there. But ultimately, I think that it should be greater. Like it shouldn't have happened. You know, I'm glad there's no jail, but we still have a fight to go. We still have longer to go. I know. Oh my goodness, what's his name? I was actually down there in Tampa during the first part of the trial. I wanted to be there yesterday, but I had dialysis, and so I was unable to be there. But the fact that I was able to be there, you know, at the beginning was great. I know Caleb Maupin was also there. I wanted to see, I think he spoke as well. Let me check. I don't think he sorry guys, I meant to I could have swore that he actually gave a speech there too. I might be wrong, because I know he was there. Or is this his? I don't know. But Caleb Maupin was also there as well. Actually, let me show you guys in the thumbnail so you guys can see. Way up here in the upper right-hand corner, that's Caleb. And so, yeah. And then, of course, you guys know Chairman Omali Yeshitela. Then in the middle is Jesse Neville. And then on the far right is Penny Hess. So that's who they are. That's the Uhuru 3. But that is a good story. It's a positive story. And this is why solidarity is so important, especially for the members of, you know, these groups who are doing the hard work of doing mutual aid. Like the Uhuru 3 is literally part of a mutual aid group. And so if they're getting probation and community service for being found guilty, then what about other groups that are doing mutual aid that speak out against U.S. imperialism? What's going to happen to them? This is why we have to continue to fight. We cannot stop, because if we are truly about free speech, we got to make sure that we make it count. And this is why I gave that speech about solidarity with each other earlier. So, congratulations to the Uhuru 3, Uhuru to all of you, and let's keep the fight going. Let's keep the fight going. All right, so what do you guys think about this story? Let me know. Oh, I forgot to look at the poll. I'm going to do the poll first, and then we'll get to the chat, okay? So we'll do that, because I want to make sure that I get the poll results. If you guys haven't taken the poll from the last segment, then we will get into that. Ooh, it's not looking good for Donnie. Let me share my screen so I can make sure I look at the poll. My apologies, guys. All right, so out of 80 votes, privatizing the U.S. Postal Service would be a great idea. 3% said a great idea. I wonder who those 3% would said. Interesting. 91% said a disaster. Privatizing the U.S. Postal Service would be a disaster. And then 6% said neither. I don't know. So thank you very much, everybody, for taking the poll. Yeah, of course. All right, so let me check on the Rumble side to see. All right, so let me go in here and share the screen. Oh, wait. Yeah, I can do that from there. I'm still tired from being at the gym. Lord, oh Lord. All right, so, ooh, hang on. All right, so Sojourner says, talking about the privatization of the post office worsting the insurance companies, vigilantism will increase, unfortunately. And then says that Savita's comment was a mic drop moment. It seems that everything related to the Constitution is under attack, and the Hegelian dialectic, aka death by 1,000 cuts. It says, hallelujah. Congrats to Uhuru 3. Thank you very much. And says, good point. They had to show that they had the upper hand somehow against the Uhuru 3. Weak, pathetic supremacy at work. Trump and Vance were too busy palling around with Penny, whose own superiors spoke against his excessive use of force. Oh, yeah, Daniel Penny said the judge spoke well, but should not have committed to Uhuru 3 to further community work, which is no different than slave labor. Cannot erase the last two posts, but made mistaken. Oh, okay. Thank you, JB. Did you share the poll on Rumble? I don't know. Wait, did I? No, I didn't have. Does Rumble allow for polls? Because I didn't. Hang on. I don't think. Hang on. Can I do polls? I don't know. Hang on. I don't think we can do polls on here. Yeah, I'm not sure about polls. If you could do polls on here. I don't think so. I'm sorry. Oh, well. Yeah. But thank you very much, Sojourner, for your comments. Appreciate it. All right. Ooh, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Let's go into the Rockfin. We're good on the Rockfin. And now let's go into all the other beautiful peeps. Lord, I think I did something wrong. I'll get to that in a second. Savita says, did you guys see the hotline for CEO by New York mayor? Hotline for CEO? What the heck are you talking about, Savita? Please let me know in the chat. I'm curious. Rondo says, why the F would anybody be motivated to increase someone else's wealth? It's like, it's hilarious. Chrissy says, you just know some billionaires eyeing USPS. Yep. Thank you very much, John Tibby. Tuning in late, we'll catch you up tonight. Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Charles J says, I feel like it used to be that the crumbs you got from building someone else's wealth was worthwhile, but now it's nothing. Yeah, we got to just take the whole table. Jacqueline says that famous cookies meme should now be both the black and white person have a cookie on their plate, but when they start questioning why the rich person has so many. Yeah. Absolutely. Candles Vote says privatizing the postal service may not be that. Oh, I think I saw that. Yeah. Am I that far behind? Yep. Rondo says, funny thing about the United Health Group CEO, apparently he's a bachelor knight of the United Kingdom. Really? Roger says, JB, you destroyed the joke. Can't do anything right. I can't do anything right. JB, what the hell, man? Oh, yes, you just told it with the blind granddad. Oh, wait. What did I say? Wait, hang on. I'm getting old, man. Cut me some slack. Oh, yeah. That wasn't about Clay. Well, I guess, yeah, Clayton Bixby. Yeah, the girl on TikTok with her blind granddad. Yeah. Oh, okay. See, Roger, you give me way too much credit, my dude. Way too much. All right, let me continue. Why the hell y'all watch this show? Terry Conley says, Uhuru, thank you so very much. Yeah. Kate Mack says, that's awesome. Thank you so very much. Lynette says, the USPS is a rights issue like healthcare, totally proven that it wants government protection from the criminal capitalist classes. Yeah. Charles J says, let's reverse Uno and put the Biden administration on trial next. I agree. And yes, Jacqueline says the chairman, Omali Yeshitela, OMALI, and then Yeshitela, YESHITLA. Omali Yeshitela. Yeah, it's like he's about to cry tears of joy. He shouldn't even have to be in that position in the first place, but I get it, which is exactly what you're saying. Yeah, right, Rondo. Like they're already doing they've been doing community service for decades. Like, where was the judge? They don't pay attention, man. Kendall's boat says, not a day, not a dime. Uhuru 3. Yes, thank you. Yep. It was a thought crime. This is why it just gets me crazy. It drives me mad. Savita says, so technically Hunter Biden can work for Ukraine. That's not foreign entity, but all the corruption on top. AIPAC can fund everyone in Congress, but a Russian attended a Zoom call. Savita, that's the comment. You got another mic drop. Because, like, you mean to tell me that speaking out against U.S. imperialism deems you a unofficial Russian agent, but all these people who are funded by AIPAC on behalf of a foreign government, they get to essentially be okay. They're not official agents of the Israeli government. They think we're Boo Boo the Fool. Wow. It is crazy, man. It is crazy. Jasmine Harrell says, Black, anti-war, and socialist. The government will always see them as guilty. I'm happy there's no prison time. Yeah, me too. Good to see you, Jasmine. Leroy says, the First Amendment has never been for anti-establishment voices. The First Amendment was actually never people that like you and me, Leroy. It was never meant for us. That's the sad part. We're going to change it, though. Watch. Alan Cannon says hands off our USPS. I agree. Like, don't you put your hands on our USPS. You either fund it more or leave it alone. That's how I look at it. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna get going because I am at 3 hours. Wow, I didn't expect to get 3 hours, but we had to have a conversation in the beginning with Rome. So I want to thank Rome for coming in via phone earlier. So that was a great reunion to have him on. So if you guys have not already, go ahead and help him out with his mutual aid event that will be happening in a month. So January 16th, on his birthday, he will be doing a mutual aid event, which I highly respect, because doing it from there, yeah, that's some work. And also, if you guys have not already, I will be doing more readings. The next reading I'll be doing is of Water and the Spirit. And then after that is The Will to Change by Bell Hooks. So we'll be getting into that later this week. And of course, to let you guys know, for my own chapter, we're also raising funds to be able to do more for our unhoused neighbors. We still got to get together to get a particular date of what we want to do next. But if you guys would like to, you guys can donate via Cash App at Orlando RBN. We appreciate it so very much. So if you guys would like to, you guys can also donate there. And so we have that there. Let me answer this question, because I think this is actually a pretty good question. Whatever man asks, why use privatized USPS when you can use any other privatized mail service at Jaybefaunt? It's the thing is that what they're demanding for is to privatize it because they want to shrink government. And that's part of shrinking government, is to privatize United States Postal Service. And they'll say things like, "Oh, well, it's gonna be competitive against the other postal and parcel services." And in reality, postal service is a public good. We knew it was for public good 240 some odd years ago, and yet we're going to privatize it? Like, no, we shouldn't. And that's a good question. It's like, well, if you want to, I mean, go ahead and use another service. But honestly, it doesn't make sense, to privatize it when you already have it as a service. That's, it's just, it's the goal of making it so that everything is privately owned by one person at the top or a very small few at the top. It's just to expand capitalism. When in reality, like Dr. Richard Wolff was saying, was that capitalism is literally on its way out. Like, and he made the great argument that all human systems are born, they have a point where they thrive, and they die. Just like, monarchies had a point where they arrive, they thrive, and they die. We don't have really monarchies anymore, right? Maybe, we have them, we still have monarchies in a symbolic way, but we don't have them in actual monarchies anymore, right? Then we have, and we also have feudalism. Feudalism came, it had a point where it thrived, and then it died. And then it was replaced by capitalism. Capitalism has a point where it came, it thrived, and now, you see where I'm going with this? Capitalism will die. And what comes out of it will be socialism, which will be a means to push towards communism. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm giving capitalism at max I'm probably being generous, 20 years. So we're in 2024, 2044. By the time I'm 60, I think capitalism will be done. I think so. It's in its death throes right now because it just doesn't want to go. But it's going to go. It's going to do whatever it can. Because of what Luigi did last week and how the public is reacting. Oh, yeah, it's on its way. It is to the left, to the left. To the left, to the left. Everything you own in the box to the left. In the closet. That's my stuff. Please don't bother. Please don't touch. I'm telling you right now, that's what's going to happen. So, yeah. Thank you very much for that question, though. Appreciate it. All right. So, I'm headed out. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I hope you guys enjoyed the surprise of having Rome on. That was a great thing. And so, please continue to just do what you can to, do mutual aid, even if it's on a very small level. Just do what you can for your fellow neighbors because that's what works. That's what helps us. And yeah, I appreciate that. Oh gosh, I love my community. I love y'all. Y'all just make the world it tickles me pink. I just love it. Did I just say tickle me pink on my own chat? Oh Lord, I need to go to bed. Anyway, all right, time for dinner. I hope to hear from you guys later. All right. Look, like I always say, water your plants, water yourselves. Leave the world better than you found it. Do all the things if you got them. Do the puff and do the sip, whatever you want to do. Or watch something funny if you ain't got them, because joy is revolutionary. Read, because reading is fundamental, because I enjoy it. I do it on this channel. All right. And continue to just be kind to yourselves. And be kind to your fellow neighbors, even if it feels like they're just not in a good mood. It could be because life be lifing. All right. Mwah. Forehead kisses. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Thank you so very much for watching my channel, and I deeply appreciate it from the top and bottom of my heart. If you wish to support the channel further, so I can keep bringing you content that is educational and informative, you can become a patron on patreon.com/Jaybefaunt. You can find that link in the pinned comment or in the description below. No matter what you give, you'll be supporting independent media and education that helps make the world better. Thank you so much, and you can watch more of my content here. Mwah. Forehead kisses, and have a beautiful day.